Hello, and welcome back to Second Take Movies, a podcast where we give movies a second look, second chance, a second take, if you will. I'm your host, Preston Jenkinson, and joining me, as always, it's my co-host, Jake Twito.
Yo, what up, bro?
What's going on?
This podcast is brought to you by Topo Chico. Mineral water makes you burp and makes you burp. What's going down? Good movie this week.
It is a good movie.
Totally forgot it. Totally forgot all this movie. I knew key points. Watched it again and went, oh my God, Val Killmer. And Froggy.
Val Killmer.
Oh, Val Killmer. That's exactly what I said. Val Killmer.
Val Killmer.
Who is Froggy? What's that actor's real name? Dude?
Which one's Froggy?
From Daredevil.
Oh, Foggy.
Sorry, yeah, Foggy. No,
Jeez.
it's Froggy, right?
No, it's Foggy.
God, I'm an idiot.
I don't know his name.
God.
He was in one of the Hunger Games movies too.
Oh, that's right. He
played the
tortoise
cameraman.
boy with the camera. Ooh,
Yeah.
Hunger Games, another movie announced.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty wild that you announce a book and a movie at the same time, but
that's she's right. Suzanne, whatever her name is, she's just writing for books now. I mean, writing for movies.
you know what though? I respect her. Like,
Yeah.
she's not cashing in. It's when she's got an idea,
Yeah.
pivot.
And
So,
get your money when you can. You know, you got an
Yeah.
idea, you can turn that into money.
yeah, and hey, I got a great idea. I don't know if you ever heard about my private company I've been working on. A buddy and I have this. It's actually copywritten, but it's called BGI. It's Bait Grease Industries, and we make dookie tubes. When you got to poop and you don't want to leave, you put it whatever. We got a product, but this movie is a good product. Let's just go ahead.
You duke into two.
Dookie tube.
The story of Déjà Vu. After a ferry is bombed in New Orleans, an ATF agent joins a unique investigation using experimental surveillance technology to find the bomber, but soon finds himself becoming obsessed with one of the victims.
Is he obsessed? Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's what I tried to figure out in this watch. I was like, wait a minute, like
he's
creepy?
obsessed in the way that he really wants to solve her murder because he thinks that's going to solve the whole thing.
Which he's right. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty big Denzel trait.
Mm-hmm.
Is save one, save them all.
Yeah.
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
The age gap is a little, but
What are you talking about? He's 26.
nope.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. He's been drinking that Tom Cruise blood.
I mean, it's Paula Patton, so she's like 50 now, but
That was Paula Patton.
it was.
Yeah. I watched the movie and recognized her and was like, oh, it's her.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about it.
But they're still 20 years apart, so.
She was good in Ghost Protocol.
She was. She was in Ghost. I think she was in.
She was in Idlewild too.
She was in the World of Warcraft movie.
Yeah, she was. You're right. That was in like 2016.
She played the sexy orc.
There's no such thing, dude. Let me tell you something, dude. Those kids get cranked on the weirdest things. I mean, give me that POT and that NEG.
Oh.
Yeah, that sounds gross.
The
Sorry.
positive
and
review.
nego.
Kenneth Tehran from the LA Times says, what is interesting is not how little sense Déjà Vu makes, but how little that matters. If you want your films to add up logically, you're welcome to take your calculator somewhere else. But if you do, you will be missing out on some first-class genre fun.
Okay, that.
I don't know if I'd call it fun, but it is an enjoyable movie.
This is gonna be so weird to say. I love this movie. Adam Goldberg is in this movie.
Is that the main scientist with the hair?
Yeah, I'm only saying this because of a movie he did later. The Jew, the very Jewish guy.
Yeah.
Okay, he was the Hebrew Hammer.
Yeah.
That
His
guy's
name's
great,
Goldberg.
man. Yeah, it's a given. But dude, I see him and it's like, it feels good. I forgot he's in this movie. There's so many people who forgot we're in this movie.
Yeah. Our negative review from Manola Dargis from the New York Times The joke of it is, for all the pricey bangs and booms, the whiplash cinematography and the editing that turns film space into cubistic tableau, a Bruckheimer-Scott partnership is only as good as its screenplay, and this one is a mess.
Whiplash cinematography. I don't think this thing had a lot of it.
No, you're going to get that Man on Fire more than this.
That's what I was really reflecting on. I was like, dude, Man on Fire's got a ton of whiplash, ton of like quick pan, quick on.
I think what she's talking about is like the camera angles they get from like the looking back in time, how that shifts around.
I don't know. That plays. That's a part of it.
Mm-hmm. That's part of the. Yeah, it's part of the science, though. But
and to be like, I'm not a fan of. I'm like that became a trend. I'm not a fan of the whiplash stuff.
Yeah,
but it's plays with the story. Which this starts off with, "Hey, we're in New Orleans," which I don't know if you remember or know. Sorry, that's not the right way to say that. This movie got canceled because Hurricane Katrina came out.
Yeah, it was right after Katrina.
I knew this, but I forgot that this was the first real production in New Orleans after.
This was also 5 years after 9/11 too. So,
yeah. Man, the 2000s are rough.
So to open up with like a domestic terrorist attack that kills
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's
children.
Harsh.
Yeah, in New Orleans is like a double whammy.
Yeah, like this thing got pushed back a few weeks, and every site was destroyed, and then it was supposed to be canceled, and then 3 months later they said, "No, we need to do this."
Mm.
I don't know, man. I've never been to New Orleans. I really want to go.
I'd love to go.
Yeah, have you been before?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I want to go get some of that Bayou gumbo.
You just walk down the street there with a drink in your hand. Nobody cares.
You're telling me that there's paradise somewhere? Sorry. The best thing too. Sorry, I know I'm just really ripping random facts.
Mm.
Tony Scott, Denzel Washington, Val Killmer, and Jim Caviezel, whatever his
Jim
name is.
Caviezel.
Thank you. Man, I rely on you for these. I don't do pronunciations.
Who is a complete weirdo.
He is. But they they made it a thing to employ local New Orleans people.
Good.
That were out of jobs after that. Like, it's a feel good movie in that point, but this isn't a feel good movie. Like you said, movie starts. We got a big old bomb on a boat with a bunch of old Navy sailors on the Mississippi.
It makes a point of showing you everybody on the ship, like a field trip and sailors and.
That was rough, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they went that into it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm getting older. Like, I've got a kid and stuff. I don't have a kid. Are you kidding me? I don't care.
You ain't got a kid.
Yeah. But yeah, that was rough.
Yeah.
But so we're introduced to Doug Carlin.
Yeah. Or Carlin, as he says it.
Carlin.
Yeah.
Where we start investigating. We find Claire's body, who's Paula Patton, and that's the driving force of the rest of this movie. That explosion, we know where it took off. We know where he ignited it.
It's a kind of a typical like investigation movie. He's an ATF agent that shows up, then the FBI shows up, and he's the lone cop kind of who is gonna find the blast residue under the bridge and identify it as ammonium nitrate. And in the process,
another movie. Again, I know we said it last week. So like Denzel Washington plays a good guy, and I feel like that's just how Denzel is a person.
Mm-hmm.
Denzel Washington, if you're listening to this for some reason,
he's
love
not
to have you on board. And don't worry, I'm going to send it to him.
He would never.
He's a good friend of mine. He definitely listens to podcasts. Sorry, I just imagined Denzel Washington listen to like. The only thing I think was Joe Rogan. There's no way he doesn't do podcasts.
No.
He don't give a crap.
No, I don't even. He probably doesn't understand it.
like, yeah, you got to download this from a website somewhere and you can listen to it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's the same age as my parents, so like he has no clue.
How old is Denzel's?
He's in his he's probably almost 70 at least. Or is 70.
Wikipedia. Can you just tell me his age, guys? Hey Google, how old is Denzel Washington? This podcast brought to you by Google.
69 years old.
69. Oh, YOLO. Yeah, son, he gets it. He's getting it. This year's fun. Next year's not. He can have a lot of fun 69. But at 70, the hips hurt. Sorry, that was crazy. But yeah, he's singled out like it's not they hate him, but he's kind of pitted to like, what are you doing? Why do you care? And that's when Val Killmer, who blew my mind, was in this movie. I totally forgot. That guy's awesome.
Yeah.
I have not watched his biography or documentary. Now, I don't know if I want to.
You should.
I will. Yeah.
But he discovers Claire's body from a call from the sheriff because the sheriff says that her body washed up on shore at 10:42, or it got reported at 10:42 a.m. and the bomb went off at 10:50. And so that
she has
that
gunshots.
No, she doesn't have gunshots. She's burned alive because you remember he makes a point later on.
Sorry, I'm flipping. Yeah. This movie gets weird with timelines.
And
it's actually super straightforward though, but it gets weird.
Yeah, it gets weird. He goes to her apartment and is looking around, and they make a point of showing you the bloody cloth in her trash can, and
she's got a voicemail. Sorry, man.
Yeah, and he called it.
Party.
He returns a call earlier in the morning, and he finds out on her answer machine that it was her that called, and her that he called and left a message for. And then there's all these little clues as to what happens later on, because like the official people, like the official CSI that comes to clean up the apartment, is like, hey, your fingerprints are everywhere, dude.
This is the second time I've watched this movie. So like the first time I was way younger too. Like,
yeah,
I think this was the golden era for me where my dad wasn't coaching football, and that entire summer we went to a movie every weekend, and like every other weekend during that fall era. It's a good time. Sorry, weird memory.
Yeah,
change. But yeah, it was awesome. Like watching this now, I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. That's how his fingerprints got there. They do little subtle things that I don't think it's apparent. Maybe I'm stupid, but
is this movie suggesting that time is a circle? Like, did he always go back in time? Because there's evidence all over her apartment that he did go back. And also later on with the ambulance.
I don't have my notes, and I'm not going to get them because they look like a psychopath. I don't think it's a circle. I think it's a circular forward loop where you come into the circle, you circle, and you're out. Like,
so it's not the circle. So it's not the tenet rules, which is like what happens. What happens always happens. Because obviously something changes because she's not dead at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert. And they kill the terrorist.
We could spend the next 20 minutes talking about this.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it. It's like I think it is tenet rules. Something happens, it's always going to happen. But what's always going to happen is he's going to go back and die, and his secondary timeline is always going to go forth. But how did he go back? Oh God. Yeah. Topo Chico, we're gonna Bert.
How about we pitch a Tenet sequel where Denzel plays the older version of his son from that movie?
Preston, look, man, I'm gonna tell you straight up.
And the protagonist meets himself.
I'm an idiot. I'm also a smart person, and I do dumb thoughts. And you're the person that told me that that's Denzel's son. So,
Yeah.
And as soon as you did, I went, "Oh my god, they have the same cadence of speech.
Mm-hmm.
They have such good-looking beards. It's the same guy."
Well, Denzel doesn't really have a beard, but
He does in the Equilibrium too, but it's not the same. That's like an Indian beard or an Arab beard.
Do you ever watch The Creator with John David Washington?
No, I need to do it.
You
I've
should.
been waiting to have time.
Like,
yeah, it looks good. So he gets approached by Val Killmer and says like, "Hey, you're really smart. You've got really good deductive abilities.
You know the area, you're local.
Yeah,
come be on my team."
Dude, that's so dope. That the whole premise of this is there's a surveillance program called Snow White where they claim we have surveillance footage and we have computer stuff.
We have 7 satellites that circle an area.
All of it sounds bogus right away.
We can regenerate entire images and scan around them because of the imagery we get from these satellites. And the whole time, like every time they explain something to him, he's like,
Are you gonna do that angle? How'd you get that angle?
Yeah. He's like, how'd you get audio? Like, how do you scan? Like, how? This doesn't make sense.
It's so smart. I loved it. Like, this guy's, I don't know, in my head, Denzel Washington's genius.
And so they spend because the way they explain it is, with this surveillance tech, we can only look back 4 days. So they spend the next couple of days going through footage, and he decides to like, hey, to solve this case, we need to solve Claire's murder because I'm pretty sure the guy that killed her is the guy that made the bomb and put it on the boat.
And he finds him. He finds him because he knows she put her car for sale, and that's the bomber right away.
Before all that,
does he figure? Oh yeah, go ahead.
It takes him like a couple of days, but like in the middle of them watching Claire in her house,
he poke it.
He takes a little laser pointer and he shines it through the screen, and she reacts to it, and the whole system starts freaking out. And so he's like, "Quit bullshitting me. What is this?" And
dude, Denzel Washington has this crap-eating grin. I can't do it. Like I can't. I saw Bell's palsy, so I can't crank this thing up. Like, dude, I don't know what it is. Like Denzel Washington does that grin in every movie he's in, and it makes me smile. I want to be that cool. I want to be that guy. That guy. Y'all want to talk about it? That was awful. Can't do it.
And so he's like, I'm gonna sit here until somebody decides what they want to tell me about this.
And freaking Adam Goldberg, the scientist, is like, all right, here's the deal. Let's talk about this.
The Event Horizon thing without the pencil.
Yeah.
So basically, this surveillance system, they accidentally came upon it. They can look back 4 days into the past and recreate an image through this Einstein-Rosen bridge they've opened somehow, and they don't know how.
By the way, why didn't they make a prequel to this movie?
Yeah.
Why didn't we have a prequel of how this happened? That'd have been dope, dude. Like, it'd have been perfect. This movie doubled its profit, doubled its payment. Like, I don't know.
Like, well, I mean, nobody was like franchised back then. Like, that was the early 2000s. No one was like, let's franchise this thing. Yeah,
I mean, this is like Jerry B. pre Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. So they basically say like, hey, we accidentally opened a wormhole and we can look 4 days into the past, and we're all scared of screwing with this thing.
Oh, so then he right away screws with it and sends a note back.
Yeah.
Which is how his partner gets killed, who he figured out earlier was dead.
Was dead and was one of the, he assumed was one of the victims. So he actually gets his partner killed.
But right after that, dude, you get the wildest thing still. Which Logan watched this movie with me, and she was like, "What is he doing?" They have a mobile snowflake. Snowflake is a database. Snow White is their system. Excuse me. Snow White system, where he puts a helmet on
It's like a early 90s VR goggle.
Preston, I love this movie. The dumbest thing in the world is he didn't put one of them lids up and drives normal. He crashes into so many cars because he's looking through some kind of goggle. Like, that's the dumbest thing in the world.
Yeah, that scene was kind of like, all right.
And I screwed up here, man. Before the goggle ray, we get the facial recognition stuff of. They
identify a bag through facial recognition.
That made me poop.
I'm like,
I was all about this until that moment.
I was like, okay,
I had some fun. I tried that.
Doesn't work.
I fed 30 images in one of my bags through something, and then took a picture and fed that. It can't find it.
No,
the government can't.
Especially not in 2006. But anyway,
what if their technology is from the future?
It's not.
No, it's not.
No. So he eventually gets a view of his partner being killed and where Jim Caviezel is planning his attack,
which is the most dirty bayou building in the world.
And we also get another clue to the future of a crashed ambulance into a place, a house or something.
That whole chase sequence was so smart, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I already mentioned, it wasn't the best thought out thing, but it was so oh, this is new. This is something different. This is cool.
But they identify the terrorist, and he's a guy that could never make it into the military. He's failed out of every service branch because he's not mentally stable. Which I don't think has ever stopped him in the past, but
shots fired.
And basically he wants to create peace through chaos. The typical terrorist thing.
That's where this movie does fault some.
Yeah, we're getting generic here.
You have such a good concept, and your villain is. Even at the end, when Denzel's challenging him, and he's like, "Patriot, what you gonna do about this?" It's like, dude, this is lazy writing. Do a better villain. But I don't know. Maybe
I do like the interview. I think I think Jim Caviezel has a pretty good performance as the crazy military guy.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, too bad he's a crazy person, actual crazy person in real life now.
Isn't he? Is he? Sorry, I don't. You can cut this, but is he a QAnon guy? Is that his deal?
No, he's a crazy right-wing guy now.
Yeah, he's definitely a QAnon, right?
He played Jesus one time and then lost his mind.
Whoa, wait a minute, that's the same guy from Passion of the Christ?
Yeah.
I've never watched that movie. Probably won't.
This was right before Passion of the Christ.
No, this was after. Passion of the Christ 2004.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah. You're right.
Well, it may have been filmed. It had to be after. Yeah.
Yeah. But he was on a show called Person of Interest that Jonathan Nolan created for CBS. And there was an episode where his character had to find a gay couple or something, or find one of the couple was gay. And he didn't want the character to do it. And Jonathan Nolan had to convince him by saying the firemen in 9/11 didn't stop to ask the victims if they were gay or not.
Sorry, that is such a hard line.
Yeah, it's I don't want to save gay people.
You're a fireman, dude. You save whoever. You don't.
He's the firemen who were saving people. Well, his character wasn't a fireman, and he was just making the comparison.
Well, I know he's kind of a maniac because the last second, I know we're skipping ahead.
Yeah,
the stunt where the car hits him.
Yeah.
He decided he wanted to do it himself.
Yeah, he's crazy.
And it messed up. He would be paralyzed waist down.
Yeah. He also recently did that movie, where they find the kid. It was made by Angel Studios or some Christian studio. Sound of Silence.
Sound of Silence?
Yeah.
No, Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom. That's what it was.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Where
Dude,
the guy he played in real life got kicked out of his own charity because of sexual harassment. And then they had a scam through that whole thing.
Like, don't let me play you. Like, I'm Christian. I get stuff. Christian media is weird as crap.
The way this thing was marketed at the end, it was a scam because they were inflating their numbers because at the end they were like, oh, here's a link where you can, we really want people to see this movie. So like, here's a link where you can buy tickets for people. And so people would hit that link, but are those tickets going to people? And like, there was reports of like empty theaters that were sold out. So it was like the best marketing tool on the planet, but it was a scam.
That whole stuff that like, sorry, man, I'm making this podcast heavier than it should be. But like that whole segment of the world's so weird. Like, Christian music, Christian movies, like,
we're both Christians, but it's like
you're making profit off of something that it's tacky. Like,
and it's all corny and it's not good.
Hey, you know what's not corny is Denzel Washington.
That's right.
Boy knows how to do it. So at this point, he loses his mind straight up.
Yeah.
A little bit. He's like, I'm going in because they're closing up. Like, we got him. We know what happened.
We got
closing
it. We're
up.
wrapping
Val
up.
Killmer. Yep. They're like, hey, we're not saying you should do this, but we won't stop you.
If I walk away, and I don't see nothing, then I don't see nothing.
I love the movie sets up like, why would you have this ludicrous time capsule thing
if you're not going to use it?
A person could fit in. But he goes back. So I'm going to be honest with you. I watched this in 2 nights. I fell asleep right here, and I can't remember fully. Because, I'm an old man, and I take medicine to go to sleep and just knock out. He goes back. He gets hurt, right? He goes to the hospital. No, he wakes up in the hospital.
Yes.
On a bed, on a gurney.
Well, yeah, they send him back, and because of the way the electrical field works, it's like an EMP, so it would like knock out the electrical signals in his brain, which would cause a shutdown of his body, basically. So they, with lack of a better term, teleport him to a hospital where he starts like he's convulsing, and then like and they had written on his chest, "Revive me."
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's what I couldn't figure out. I was like, how did we get to the revive me part? But he wakes up because he's straight. He's good. Straight. Well, he's straight up. Okay. Is what I was going to say. Denzel Washington, that boy's pretty straight. He's like a arrow. Steals an ambulance, which, we saw that ambulance earlier. Hey, boy, we saw that ambulance in the Bayou. We all about the Bayou in the ambulance. Preston, could you give me a Waterboy coach voice for that really quick? Could you just Yeah, that sounds great. That's exactly what we're gonna do.
You got to go like 50% Sling Blade on that.
I still have such a hard time of Sling Blade and why am I drawing a blank? The main actor.
Billy Bob Thornton?
I keep saying Billy Ray Cyrus.
Nope.
No. But I can't believe that's him. Like, it is incredible. Just,
you don't got any biggies in there?
Yeah, I need potato fries up in there.
Give me one of your mother biggies. Fried green and meat.
I never tried with the old no more. Ain't got no gas. Oh, dude, that mouth, that chin, that was it, dude.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta put it in the mouth right there.
We love this movie, but we're doing Sling Blade for the rest of it. Suck it.
What a time.
Dude.
So yeah, he finds Claire and tries to explain to her, like, hey, I'm from the future.
Who does she shoot him?
Yes.
Yeah, she shoots him, then patches up. Sorry, my brain was like, who shot the guy? Like, I knew he was
And
shot.
that's where all the bloody cloths came from at the beginning of the movie. So this happened, which makes me think, go back to my theory before, a lot of this stuff happened, but I guess he wasn't able to save her the first time around? Because it seems like he always went back in the past.
I think what we see in the movie is a fractured timeline. Or a new
that makes sense.
Where when he goes back, it all resets. Because we never see anyone else that he talked to. None of these white people.
So we
don't see him ever again.
He's just resetting the timeline then.
Yeah, I think he reset it where, like, yeah, he died. Then his normal self comes back. That's my take. I don't think it's a loop. I think it's a reset.
Makes sense. But like in the previous time he came from, he did already jump back. You see what I'm saying? Because he still sees the stuff before he jumps back. So it's like, I feel like there's a version of him that always goes back.
Yes.
And he's the one that succeeded in saving her.
This is related.
So he broke the loop. I think he breaks the loop.
I think he breaks the loop. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
And you nod your head and say, shut up. Can we talk about, like, teleportation for a minute? You think if we ever get to the point where we can teleport, that you're killing yourself and then you're
like basically disassembling your body and reassembling it somewhere else?
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope not.
Look, dude, I'm a psychopath. I don't sleep well. I mean, I don't sleep for days straight. I really get hard into it. And this movie made me think about time travel. Because, Preston, I've been here before. I know what you're going to say next. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Poop. Ah, dang it.
Oh.
All right, well, I'm good.
So, he, they go through the motions again. They actually track down the terror, Jim Caviezel. Yeah. They catch him on the ferry as he's about to set off the bomb.
Whoa. The best scene in this entire movie is Washington grabs a clock instead of a watch. He grabs a freaking digital, like, not digital, but a clock on a battery and puts it in his pocket. He's got a watch, dude. What's going on?
It got messed up on his way through. I don't know.
They track him down. They're on the ferry. They have a plan. Well, guess what? You tampered with the time. It's not going to be the same thing.
Yep.
So
it's at a different time because he's rushed now. So he gets on there earlier. They eventually kill him. And
after weird, dude, that dialogue is so weird.
Yeah, it's a little clunky.
Like, hey, Patriot, you want to go out there and be a part of it? You in there for this? That's legitimate line.
He quotes something to him that he quoted to him before he jumped back. That Jim Caviezel quoted to him in their interrogation earlier. He quotes something to him like that.
Oh, the bomb's there. It's armed. It's gonna go. So
somehow,
what I gotta ask you, like, we gotta square some things up.
Yeah,
this is for my wife. I thought the same thing, but she was really stuck on it. Preston, why didn't he cut her free?
That's a good question. I guess he figured he didn't have enough time. How does she get out of it though?
He rips the steering wheel off.
Oh.
She swims up at the steering wheel, and I'm like, dude, if you had enough time to do that underwater, you could have done that above water in like seconds, man.
And then no one suspects her of being the bomber either.
No, because before they can get to that, his future self comes and takes her away.
Ah.
Yeah.
Or his past self.
Future past.
Days of Future Past. X-Men. The best X-Men movie.
Oh, no. The best X-Men movie is about to come out. That's pretty much it, dude. Like,
yeah.
Which we didn't talk about. The beginning of the movie starts with him calling somebody.
And it's her.
Is it her or is it supposed to be himself?
Well, no, he's calling his partner who's
Claire.
missing.
Okay.
That's who he's calling. That got murdered the night before, and he didn't know about it. Because he's the one that got him killed. Apparently, he always gets his partner killed.
Yeah, he needs to die. I already touched goats. I gotta tell you straight up, movie's great. This is 7-8 for me. It's
like a 7.5. It's a good movie, but it's not.
The ending, like legit ending
Mm-hmm.
of a slow down freeze frame fade to black.
Yeah.
I'm such a. It's me. I'm an idiot. We're good. Like, it's me. That's so lazy.
Yeah.
End it. Like. Also, the other thing I got to tell you is there's a Hummer in this movie. That was in the Iron Man movie. That's all. No, one of the best things, like, there's so many things from this movie that ended up being an Iron Man props.
Oh.
I don't know how. Like, all the Hummers, they're all an Iron Man. First one.
Okay.
Hummers that were just on the boat.
Fun fact. Yeah.
I'm a loser. But this was the biggest stunt that's still ever happened in New Orleans.
Yeah. They haven't shot a lot of movies in New Orleans.
And I think still...
Actually, they shot some of Terminator Genesis in New Orleans.
You ever seen Lincoln Lawyer?
Nope. Yep. Yes, I have.
TV show or the movie?
Movie.
Okay. At the time, this was the most expensive script that was ever purchased. $4.5 million.
Wow.
It's crazy. And it's good, man. It's a good movie, man. Like, it's solid. I don't know what I would correct to make it better.
I don't either.
I don't know.
I might mess around and like make it like a thing where he but yeah, the time travel is like, it seems like a one shot thing. Yes. So you couldn't have like I need to go back. Oh, I need to go back. Oh, I need to go back. But
well, I think there's 4 timelines. The first one,
ooh.
The movie is the third timeline.
You could really get up your own ass with that.
I think there's 4. It starts with the third timeline where Doug's. I'm gonna try to do character names for a minute because I always I gotta do better. Hey, podcast guys, listeners, let me do better.
Yeah.
Doug's doing the ferry bombing. Claire dies, and in that timeline he goes back. These are my notes, so I'm reading. I'm not gonna lie. So he goes back earlier timelines and learns that Claire was killed by the dude and bombed the ferry, and then due to his bloody clothes and fingerprints being in the apartment, it indicates there was 2 other timelines.
Could
right?
Could be.
And then the 4th is what we have, I think, where he prevents that and they all go back. I don't know, dude. I hated my diagrams. I made notes. I don't like it. I like time travel stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we transitioned into what we watching, playing, reading, stuff like that.
Dude, I've been watching The Boys, man. I'm up
I haven't watched that yet.
All 3?
I haven't watched any of them yet. Like, see any of season 4.
It's good. It's really good.
Well, good. I can't just I can't bring myself to watch it for some reason. Like, I'm just not in the mood to watch it.
No. I forced it. it. And every time I watch it, I'm like, I don't really want to do this, but
because like the last season was a lot, and I'm like,
it's the same. And you see big penises, and I'm
fun.
Not cool with it. It's also a human centipede.
All right.
Moment. Yeah, which I'm like, oh, okay, it's cool. It's supposed to be
it's the boys. You know, there's going to be something crazy.
I don't know. My only thing, I'm enjoying it. It's great.
Yeah.
But my only thing is, like, I feel like the show's becoming a parody of itself now.
I saw a review that said that. It's like,
oh, I feel better. I hadn't read. I mean, I read not that, but other stuff. Like
I've seen a couple things. Like, all right, this show's becoming what it was making fun of.
Which, good for them. Season 5, they're going to end. Because I think this should
Yeah, I
have
think,
been.
yeah.
I don't think they should have done another one. I think this should have been it.
I think I'm going to wait till all the episodes are out to watch it.
I would recommend that fully because I'm at the point now where I'm like, well, dang, what's happening? I thought they dropped everything, but
no, they did that the first season, and then they realized how popular it was. So, like, ever since then, they're doing a week, which I like the week-to-week releases.
I kind of do.
Because it keeps it, fresh somewhat.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice. Like, I enjoy. I think about Game of Thrones. I watched the first 2 or 3 seasons of Game of Thrones back to back, and I never thought about anything. Then the 4th one, I started thinking between episodes, and it was better. Apart from the miserable waiting period, but
yeah.
So the boys. I watched 5 minutes of Shogun.
Okay.
It seemed great. I had to go
great.
back to work, and I hated everything.
I still haven't finished it. I need to make time to watch that first before I watch the boys.
I'm still anime time, like Kaiju number 8. It's one of the best things I've ever watched. It is so fun. Like I watched it. I watched it on Saturdays is when it comes out English time. And I love that. Normally, most animes, they don't drop English dubs right away.
Yeah.
And this one's same time.
Okay.
That's awesome. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, I read subtitles. I don't care, but it's so good, man. It's rad. But yeah, that's probably about it. There's a lot of games I saw this week that I'm excited to see from Nintendo. But what you, man? What you up to? Oh, no, what? No, one more. I got Paul Scheer of How Did This Get Made? The actor, his book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read that. I'm going to be at the beach next week. I never going to record a podcast before. I think that's what I'm going to aim to do. So, but what you up to, man?
I watched a movie called Duel on Hulu. It had Karen Gillan and Aaron Paul.
Yes.
It's a dark comedy.
Yep.
It's a world where people are very literal and have come up with a system where they don't have to deal with death. You can get a surgery to create a duplicate of yourself, and that will live on after you die.
So weird. I've seen it. It's a weird movie.
It is weird.
It's a cool premise.
It was a really cool premise.
Yeah.
And the premise is when you're dying, you can legally get a clone of yourself, and they can halfway take over your life right before you die. And if you get better, that clone then has the right to say, I want to be the real whoever. And then legally in this society, the two of you duel to become the one person. And it's a very the end is is it her? Is it the other one? Is it the clone?
Well, I love Theo James is in that movie.
Yeah, he's in the opening. He's not in the movie.
Jesse Eisenberg was supposed to be him.
That makes sense.
But Theo James, I love right now because of The Gentleman. But that was a fun movie. Wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't good. It was good. It was good. I don't know. I'm trying to curb my thoughts.
With that dark of a comedy, I'm like, is this supposed to be funny?
Yeah, it's rough. I'm like, should I laugh? Or...
I genuinely laugh when she gives Aaron Paul dance lessons. That was hilarious. But
I also really Karen Gillan is awesome.
She's very talented.
I don't think she's picking great movies.
Well, she's not. I mean, she's made money, so she's just picking whatever, which I appreciate.
Yeah, that was a fun movie, though, man. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I did not have fun, and I also love it when the writer is the director.
She was
their
she was also in a little movie on Netflix that I need to watch again. I've never watched it all the way through. It's called Gunpowder Milkshake.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah,
as much as I remember, it was fun.
But
I don't know. Again, I'm trying not to harp.
Yeah,
it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, no. What's that book I've been reading? Hold on. I started a book the other day. because I read it was being made into a movie.
I think you're talking about The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Nope. I'm talking about Influx. It's a sci-fi book about they've learned how to repel gravity.
Oh, I've already done that. Yeah.
I think not Denzel. Jeez, I wish. Will Smith signed on for the movie. So he's trying to get back into people's good graces again.
All right, dude. I'm gonna drop you hard, man. I watched his Hot Ones.
I didn't.
That dude's desperate.
Yeah.
I've lost all care.
Yeah.
He might be a good actor, but
I don't think he's a good actor.
Man, we've talked about it before, separating the act
I
from
think
the
he's
actor.
just very charismatic. With that, we'll say you can send, if you have a suggestion for a movie, you can send that to secondtakemoviespod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Second Take Movies. You can subscribe to the YouTube and leave the likes and the comments and all that over there as well. Jake, you got any words of wisdom to close us out?
Dude, this week, just be nice to people, man.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on with people. Just be nice.
It'd be nice.
Don't crap your pants. Just be nice to people.
No.
Just, hey, and say, and you know what? No, two more things. Take your cart back in when you go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Don't be a jerk.
Or at least put it in the thing outside.
Yeah. Dude, how hard is that to do? Like, all the students are gone from campus. There's a bunch of biddies that live in Clemson. I'm like, dude, put your crap back. You look like you might be old and stuff, but put it back. Yeah, that's it, man. I got nothing else, dude.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
So next week is Man on Fire. So just a
Greasy Bear.
good, solid revenge movie.
I'm gonna crap my pants.
Yeah. So we'll see you next week with that.